A lot of lore from the world of the Seven Kingdoms is beginning to be rooted as we get clever nods to the Game of Thrones series whilst raising questions about what could happen in the future of the show. So what Easter eggs and theories are there to speak of this time around? Stick around as we delve into them. Let's start things off with the Easter eggs as usual. Easter egg number 8, Vhagar. When on his awkward walk with potential future bride, Laena Velaryon, Laena mentions the dragon Vhagar.
Where Vhagar is now.
This dragon is said to still be alive during the events of this show, and is a big part of Westeros' history dating back to Aegon's time. Vhagar was one of the dragons ridden by Aegon and his two sisters during historic conquests. Being ridden by Aegon's older sister, Queen Visenya Targaryen, this fire breather was a big part of Westeros' history. Easter egg number 7, Dreamfire. Entering Daemon back into the plot of the show, it transpires that the prince has stolen an egg that belonged to the dragon Dreamfire. Fans will know that Dreamfire was the dragon of Aegon the Conqueror's granddaughter, Rhaena. Rhaena happened to have a relationship with Lady Alyssa Farman, who wanted to head off on a grand voyage. When Rhaena did not finance this voyage, Alyssa reacted in kind by stealing 3 of Dreamfire's dragon eggs, similar to what Daemon did, stealing a Dreamfire egg in retaliation. Easter egg number 6, the Second Sons. The final scenes of the episode see Corlys seeming to make an alliance with Daemon, naming them as the Realm's Second Sons.
We are the Realm's Second Sons, Daemon.
This could actually have a few meanings behind it. Fans will remember that Stannis Baratheon was a second son to his family, and like Daemon, his brother never honored him with the title of Hand of the King. There is also Daario Naharis, Daenerys' one-time lover and warrior. The fighter belonged to a company known as the Second Sons. Are these just little nods, or is there a deeper meaning? Easter egg number 5, sending Daemon to the wall. A nice nod to a few plot points from Game of Thrones' early run. When discussing what to do with Daemon in the light of his recent questionable actions, King Viserys sarcastically suggests sending him to the wall, or placing his head on a spike. We'll all remember from Game of Thrones that a few fair characters were sent to the wall, including the one and only Jon Snow. There was also Janos Slynt, who like Daemon was named as commander of the City Watch once upon a time. With the head on a spike nod, this is of course in reference to Ned Stark's fate. Easter egg number 4, Dragonstone. With the conflict between King's Landing and Prince Daemon now starting to grow, we watch as Otto Hightower and soldiers of the king venture to where the prince resides, Dragonstone. Dragonstone was last seen during season 8 of Game of Thrones, being where Daenerys decided to make her move by violently attacking King's Landing. We should expect to see more of this place as the rest of the season unfolds. Easter egg number 3, Sir Ryam Redwyn. At the start of the episode, we are greeted with the death of Sir Ryam Redwyn, who is the Lord Commander of the Kingsguard. Though there were a lot of names thrown around during Game of Thrones' book run, this should be one that rings a bell for fans of the Stark family. Following Redwyn's legend as a knight, Jon Snow would actually pretend to be him when sparring against his adoptive brother Robb. Even when Bran could walk, he would dream of becoming a knight as honorable as Redwyn. Needless to say, Redwyn actually inspired the 2 members of the Stark family who lived to the end of the TV series. Easter egg number 2, the Silent Sisters. Upon establishing the death of Sir Ryam Redwyn, it is mentioned that the Silent Sisters are preparing his body for his funeral. The Silent Sisters are in fact an order that is part of the Faith of the Seven that is responsible for dressing the deceased. They're actually seen during Game of Thrones. Once when preparing the body of dead Jon Arryn, the second one standing over a thankfully dead Joffrey Baratheon. Easter egg number 1, House Crakehall. This is actually quite a light, jokey callback to a Tyrion Lannister moment of the original series. Viewers will have noticed during episode 2 that when Rhaenyra was tasked with selecting a new knight to the Kingsguard, though her choice was seemingly Sir Criston, Otto Hightower was more in favor of a knight from a more beneficial house, one of his suggestions being House Crakehall. This house is briefly mentioned in one of the more smile-worthy conversations between Tyrion and Sansa Stark. During an episode of season 3 when the two are walking together, Tyrion jokes about Lord Desmond Crakehall being a pervert due to his name, with Sansa replying by suggesting putting sheep feces in his bed.
Anyone named Desmond Crakehall must be a pervert.
We could shapeshift Lord Desmond's bed.
Now we head onto the theories from the episode. Let's see if you thought of any of these yourself. Theory number 6, Dreamfire's eggs are Daenerys' children. We mentioned Dreamfire before, the 3 eggs that were stolen, never to be seen again, or were they? The number 3 is a very specific number in terms of dragon eggs within the world of Game of Thrones. Fans will remember that a lead character in Game of Thrones was gifted with 3 eggs as a wedding gift. Yes, Daenerys. Those 3 eggs went on to hatch to be known as Daenerys' children, Drogon, Viserion, and Rhaegal. Could it be that the 3 stolen eggs wound up in the possession of Daenerys and finally hatched during the events of the original series? Theory number 5, Otto is behind Viserys' ailment. Otto does seem to have the king's best interests at heart, doesn't he? But there's definitely something very off about him. Notice when doctors are speaking to King Viserys about his illness spreading to his hand, Otto has a very particular look on his face. We also know by the episode's end that his daughter Alicent is to be Viserys' new bride, showing his plan of pushing her towards the king has come to some sort of fruition. Is Otto manipulating the situation in the hope that his bloodline will one day reside on the Iron Throne? It certainly seems that way. What better way to cement this by setting the king's impending doom into motion? Theory number 4, King Viserys has grayscale. The illness of King Viserys is once again held front and center in front of fans during this episode. By this time in the story, 6 months after Queen Aemma's death, it is apparent that the illness has now spread to his hand, causing a gangrene-like effect with doctors prescribing maggots to eat away at the dead flesh. Though it does not exactly line up with what we've seen in Game of Thrones previously, it could be that our current king has been infected with grayscale. Fans will remember this illness popping up for a few characters during the original show. Again, it doesn't exactly translate with what we've seen of it before, but could Viserys have a specific case of it? Theory number 3, Daemon will betray Corlys. We may only be 2 episodes in, but it is clear already that Daemon is rooting for himself only. When the episode ends, it appears that he is striking up an alliance with Corlys, but doesn't it seem more likely that he'll only be doing this with his own interests at heart? Notice how Daemon will not allow Corlys to say a word against his brother. This tells us if he won't allow a crossword about him, he would definitely not go as far as murdering him for the throne. But there is a way in which he could reach the throne without having to do so. Could it be that Daemon is somehow setting Corlys up to be framed? Maybe making it so he looks to be aligned with the crab feeder? Uncovering a plot and saving Westeros would definitely put Daemon back in his brother's good graces. If so, Daemon has a sneaky road ahead for sure. Theory number 2, Vhagar is coming. As mentioned previously, the dragon Vhagar was brought up in conversation during this episode, and it is known that he's still out there somewhere, alive and well, during the events of the series. Could it be that Vhagar will pop up during the show's run? We could also take note of who mentions him, Laena. In the books, Laena is actually Vhagar's dragon rider during a certain amount of time. Could this all be nodding to her taking this into live action? Theory number 1, Crab Feeder is a foot soldier. During Corlys' discussion with Daemon during the end of the episode, Corlys is pushing Daemon to bring balance and show his worth by going and defeating the Crab Feeder. Now, this Crab Feeder does appear as a villainous, unbecoming individual, but does he really look like he has main villain written on his forehead? The best bet is that the Crab Feeder will appear as an antagonist through the series, but we'll soon find that he's in service of a much greater threat. The only question is, who? Again, just 2 episodes in and we're getting a lot to pick up and think about for the remaining 8 episodes of the season. We're only getting more and more excited every week at this point. Did you notice these Easter eggs? Did you think of any of these theories yourself? Hey, maybe you have some of your own. Let us know what you're thinking in the comments section down below. We'd love to hear.